And welcome to Interfaith Wednesday Night Live Spirit, Mind, and Body Connection. Interfaith, our mission is to inspire, teach, heal, and empower the world. And our purpose is to know God, whatever you conceive your God to be, whatever name you put on your higher power, it matters not. But to acknowledge that which is within us is greater than that which resides in the world of conditions, appearances, and effects. So our purpose is to know God, love God, and serve God by means of one another. And you are as close to God as I am ever going to get. And I am as close to God as you are ever going to get. And if I am in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there truly is only one of us. So as I welcome you to our Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide Wednesday Night Live Spirit, Mind, and Body Connection, I am Dr. Sharon Stroud. I am the founder of our ministry, and I acknowledge each and every one of our virtual community that have tuned in here tonight to be with us. I have loved our theme this month. Our theme has been the Aladdin Factor. It's a wonderful book by Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield, and has so many beautiful, wonderful gems of wisdom. So I invite each and every one of you to go on Amazon, and if you have Kindle, that's great. You can get the paperback on Amazon.com. So tonight we're looking at wishes do come true. Do you believe that? That wishes do come true. And as we open to the space that allows us to acknowledge these wishes, that it is done unto us as we believe. So you know that I do set the tone on every Wednesday Night Live, and that I'm, very new to this streamline, so I'm not seeing any comments. So all of you who are with us tonight, Rhonda from Florida is usually with us, and our Dr. Roger Bambanek, who is our host of Wednesday Night Live, will post for you to put in where you are from, your prayer requests, and anything else that you would like to share with us tonight. So as Miss Minnie and I we're going to set the tone, and I invite you that as I set the tone with this mantra from the Gandhi Foundation, that you repeat after me. And this resonates to the heart chakra. Remember, a chakra is a wheel of spinning energy in a clockwise fashion. We have 7 major chakras within this body temple. So we really are attuning all of them. And this chant from the Gandhi Foundation is very, very powerful. It's very heart opening. It's very connective one to the other. So just come along with me. And if you don't feel comfortable repeating after me, you can just silently say it to yourself. I offer you peace. I offer you friendship. I offer you love. I see your beauty. I hear your needs. I feel your feelings. My wisdom flows from a higher source. I salute that source in you. Come, let us work together. Come, let us work together. Come, let us work together. Peace, shalom. Peace, shante. Peace, salam. Peace, pause. Peace, pax. Peace, Friedan. Peace, 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 peace. What I know is that right now, somewhere in the world, a Jew is saying her prayers. A Hindu is chanting a mantra, and a Buddhist is kneeling at her sacred shrine. Right now, at this very moment, someone is lighting a candle in a cathedral. Someone is making their Hajj toward Mecca, for it is the will of Allah. And yet someone else is lighting a fire in a jungle, repeating an ancient mystical drama. Many, many pathways up the mountaintop, and the view is always the same from the summit. In the dawning of the spiritual sun, for a moment all faiths became as one. The Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, Jew became as one and somehow knew that mystic voice that calls to me, oh, yonder, yonder person, I am thee. We are one. And in this oneness do we live and move and have our being. This oneness moves beyond color, race, creed, sexual orientation, and oh yes, political affiliation. We are one. And in this recognition of our oneness, we come together here tonight. We come together to acknowledge the Aladdin Factor, the opportunity that we have to be in the world, but of a higher spiritual vibratory frequency. And that each and every one of us, we're going to take that magic carpet ride every time we make a decision to go to the next level, to do something that we've never quite done before, to stretch the envelope within us. We are taking that magic carpet ride. And the higher we get, the more perspective we truly acknowledge. Because our viewpoint depends on what? Our point of view. That's right. Because I can show you something. I can show you this little mouse, right? And I can have you describe this little mouse to me, this computer mouse. And you will tell me that it's, it's rather oval and it's black. And maybe there's, a couple of things that you can see on the side of it. But I can say to you, no, that's completely wrong. That's not what it is at all. It's got a very beautiful design. It's got the white and the blues and the fuchsias in this beautiful, wonderful design. But you're saying, no, it's black. It's rather oval. Yeah, that's correct. But if I turn it around and I show it from this perspective, then you can see what I see. It's kind of like the song, Do You See What I See? And so when our viewpoint depends upon our point of view, we acknowledge that we're drawn together through our similarities. We grow through our differences. We grow and we unfold. So tonight, as we acknowledge wishes do come true, that there's a power and a presence in the universe greater than we are. And we can not only use it, we are using it every single day of our lives, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. This is why I absolutely love our way of life, is that we are always at choice. Do we have lower vibratory frequency days? Yes, because we are subject to the human condition. We don't beat ourselves up over it or think we're not practicing the principles of successful living. We regroup. We reset, we regenerate, we recreate our energy. And when we realize that we are at choice in the matter and that we can just turn it up or turn it down to rest, relax, renew, it's important. We're all part of the human condition. And when I hear people about all the things that they're doing, I realize that we are not a human doing, are we? We're a human being. And we are spiritual beings having this very interesting spiritual experience, especially at this time in our evolution and our unfoldment. So when we are presented with a birthday cake, there's what? Always candles. The candles are lit. And what does everyone say? Make a wish. And we close our eyes and we make our wish. And then we what? We blow out all the candles, don't we? We blow out the candles. But we have what? Made our wish. And when we make that wish, it's a declaration within each and every one of us. And that the beautiful, darling little song, Looking at the Stars at Night, and when a shooting star goes by, it means our wish has come true to make a wish on this most amazing moment. So tonight, when we are looking at wishes do come true, one of the things is we put the works with the faith and the actions with intention. And one of the things that we do every Sunday after our Sunday service is we do a mastermind group. And a mastermind group is so powerful. In fact, many books, and Speak and Grow Rich, Think and Grow Rich. There's so many books out that do include the mastermind and its power. In fact, Jesus was the original masterminder. He didn't go anywhere without Peter, James, and John. And he said, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name. He was not talking about Jesus of Nazareth. He was talking about the Christ principle. The Christ principle, the Buddha nature, the holy I am presence, whatever we choose to call this universal presence, is within each and every one of us. We know with our Muslim brothers and sisters, there is one God, Allah is his name. That with our Buddhist brothers and sisters, that there is Atman, there is Brahman, there is Lord Buddha, who said that humanity is the result of all that they have thought. So we realize that thoughts are things and words are molds, as Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, has stated. And remember, religious science, science of mind, the name was changed to Centers for Spiritual Living, so it wouldn't be confused with any other denominations, mainly Scientology. And religious science, the laws of science, the opinions of philosophy, the revelations of religion applied to human need and the aspirations of every living soul. And when we look at the cause and effect relationship, or people say, well, it's their karma. The truth is, it's a cause and effect relationship, and that karma is the result of this cause and effect relationship. So when we talk about good karma and all the wonderful things in life, that is an energy force that is built up within us. And that as we live and move and have our being in that energy, that these amazing centers within us open up. Remember, the heart is the doorway to the soul. Where your heart is, there your treasure will be also. So when we look at that wishes are fulfilled, that we put the works with the faith, the action with intention, and the mastermind principle is to assume the same feelings we would have if our requests were already fulfilled. We have that wonderful feeling and knowingness that it's already transpired. In the invisible, it is. And ours is the privilege of giving birth to it. We know the only tangible thing in life are the results that are out here that we see, according to Dr. Ernest Holmes. But there is all the work that is being done within us, as within, so without. And as we open the space to allow God to do what God does best by means of each and every one of us who hear that call, that divine call. And when we hear that call and we answer, we move into the next level. And so all of those feelings of being in the world and feeling that you're at the effect of the pandemic, you're at the effect of people's moods, you're at the effect of things not working out. There is an inworking. And as we are patient and we allow it to gestate within us, it does come to fruition. Because with God, all things are possible. But with man, they are impossible. Why is that? What that means, in that esoteric meaning, is that we just can't do it with the ego. We may for a while, but then what happens? It doesn't last, does it? But with God, with the energy of our higher power, all things are possible to them that believe in a higher power, whatever we conceive that to be, whatever name we put on it. And in the 7 steps to the mastermind, one of the most important steps is the forgiveness step, is that we forgive ourselves, we forgive others for any emotional hurt that we may be feeling, any erroneous beliefs that we have built a position on that no longer serve us. We return that to its native nothingness. We're taking the magic carpet ride. We are here in the world. We're acknowledging that that magic lamp is within each and every one of us. And as we brighten it, as we polish the energy within us, that the universal genie says, your wish is my command. And the whole premise of the Aladdin Factor is learning to ask for what we want, isn't it? And that so many times we feel unworthy, we feel that it's impolite to ask for what we want. But the truth is, not everyone is psychic. They're not going to know what we want. And so we make it known. And I think the biggest thing is in intimate relationships, when we think the other should know what we want without asking. But the truth is that as we make our wishes known, they are fulfilled. And they are unfulfilled if we do not make our wishes known. And so we go within to that secret place of the Most High. Now, I have a gratitude list, and I have little gratitude cards, and they're very beautiful, and they're in a little box, and they say gratitude. And that every day to look for something you can be grateful for. Every day to put ourselves into something that we can put our whole heart and soul and body into. That we can feel the energy of life and what life does best by means of each and every one of us. And to feel this kind of a joy. And that joy is the most infallible sign of the presence of God. Brother Lawrence, who worked in the kitchen in his order at the Abbey, one day he was washing dishes and he looked out the window and suddenly everything was illuminated. Everything was filled with light and energy, and he realized that all things are sacred. So we do our mundane things, but there's a sacredness in that doingness of the mundane because we are mindful, we are conscious. And when the Buddhists say, chop wood and carry water, we keep chopping wood and carrying water in our daily round. So the statement is, before enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. And as we do that, all things become sacred. What is it that you wish for? What is your deepest desire, your highest vision, your most sacred goal? And as we allow ourselves to not only to see it, but to feel it, because it is done unto us as we believe in our hearts. For where our treasure is, there our heart will be also. And so the heart points the way. The heart, we follow the heart. We allow those beautiful, amazing feelings within the heart to guide and direct us. And sometimes, we don't feel like it. And there are days that, we just feel, we're maybe tuned into kind of a static energy. We've all done it. So that to me is a signal to be still and know that I am God. In fact, U.S. Anderson wrote a book many, many years ago. It was called 3 Magic Words. And so I would ask people, what do you think the 3 magic words are? And they would say, I love you. Mainly it was, I love you. Or we are one, all of the wonderful 3, in 3 words. But as you get to the end of the book, the 3 magic words are, I am God. And when we realize that we are co-creators with this higher power, and that we are acting from that higher power, and that this is not arrogant, This is acknowledging that we are created in the image and likeness of God. Jesus, who became the Christ, said, "Know that ye are gods, a little lower than the angels." So energetically, as we open to our true self-image, whatever we passed through in our childhood, whoever raised us for what we needed to learn, and many times it was unconditional love for the human condition, and that the more dysfunctional that our background was, the more adjusted we can become in life. And the more adjusted that we allow ourselves to be, then there's no need to judge what's going on in the outer world. Life just does what life does best. Life unfolds, it evolves, and that we can go with the flow of this life, and that we can open to it or not. And I had a very interesting realization. In the 80s, Mark Victor Hansen wrote to me, and he wanted me to submit a recipe. In fact, it was the 90s, excuse me, it was the 90s. And they were going to do a cookbook for the soul. You know, it's chicken soup for the soul, which was a multi-million-dollar venture for he and Jack. In fact, Jack shares in the Aladdin Factor that he was going to call it like happy stories, because everyone was coming to him saying, "You know that story you told? Is there a book I can read? Or, you know, can you send me that story?" And so he decided to compile all of these stories that he was sharing in his presentations, and he was sharing it with Mark. And Mark said, "I'd like to be a co-author with you." And he said, "Look, I'm halfway done. You want to piggyback on my work?" He said, "Well, you know, probably most of the stories that are in that book you heard from me. And yes, and I think that we can call it something much more dynamic and something that will really stir people's souls." And so Jack was meditating, and he came up with chicken soup for the soul, because he said all his life that when he was feeling dis-ease, that he was given chicken soup so he would feel better. And all good Jewish mothers always give their family chicken soup so that they'll feel better. It's called penicillin for the soul, whatever, right? And so they came up with chicken soup for the soul. And in the 90s, he was writing this book on the, chicken soup cookbook for the soul. And he wrote and asked me to submit a recipe. And my mother had her amazing experience of being stranded 8 days and 8 nights with my sister in the mountains above Nevada. And she was there 8 days and 8 nights without food or water. And I've shared this story before, and I'm actually writing a book about this experience and how it applies universally to each and every one of us. But it was an incredible experience. And during that time, my sister took her own life. She had an anklet on because she had addiction challenges. And she just felt that she just needed to leave this world. And in our way of life, we do not put judgment on anyone's how they choose to leave the planet. And I posted on Facebook on the 22nd that it was her earthly birthday. And that for anyone who has lost a loved one through their own hand, I extend my hand of love and compassion and understanding. Because we know that radical severance, we're stunned. It's just so sudden, isn't it? But I did have a visitation from my sister, and she came, and I was like in this kind of twilight zone in my office on my property in Mount Helix. The office was removed from my home, and I just finished a counseling session, and I was in my recliner and in kind of that twilight zone, and I had my sister's ashes on an altar that I had created. And she came to me and she said, "Oh, my dear Sharon, I'm so sorry for all the things I did on the earthly plane. Please forgive me." And I said, "Of course I do. I love you." And she said, "I understand everything now in my light body." And she disappeared as quickly as she came. And that was such a confirmation for me that the veil is very thin, and that our loved ones who have crossed over do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glint on snow. I am the birds in quiet flight. I am the stars that come out at night. I am the gentle, quiet hush. I am the energy of the quiet rush. Do not stand at my grave and cry, I am not there. I did not die. That the veil is very, very thin. And through this visitation, this confirmation, I felt so much at peace. So I told my mother that we would put in this cookbook her beautiful Divinity recipe. And Divinity is like a white fudge. And in growing up, we had 6 walnut trees on our property. And she would hire immigrant workers to shake the walnuts down. And she would make Divinity with the walnuts that were growing on our own property. And the walnuts we would fill with gunny sacks so that we could have a Christmas. And when I shared this with her, there was so much joy. I mean, she had just experienced her daughter's suicide. And now she was going to, I was going to tell her story to the world. And that this Divinity was very, very special. And it was divine. And it was interesting, the editor of that cookbook, one of the co-authors, I did not really relate to. And it was really interesting. We can relate to someone, we resonate, and I had admiration for her, but there was not like this real heart connection. And that we don't always have a heart connection with everyone that comes within our energy field. I had 3,000 people coming every week in San Diego. I was always in the news, and there was always things going on. And we sold our church in Mission Valley on the hill, and we went into a 22,000 square foot facility. Lot of wonderful things going on. And the book came out, and she had excluded my mother's recipe and the story. And this was all part of this chicken soup for the cookbook, right? And she had excluded my mother's story. And it was very, very disappointing for my mother. And what is so interesting, I always had like a bit of angst. And this person, she moved to the Coachella Valley. So I would go to functions and I would see her and I would feel kind of like this tightness that would show up in my heart. And then I would breathe through it and just realize that everyone does what they do, and it's not good or bad. It just is. Let it go. And I would always let it go. And I was always polite. But not a real like soul connection, but wishing the other well. And I want you to know that we're not going to be airy-fairy and all of that, kind of woo-woo kind of stuff that we're going to relate to everybody. They're going to be our bosom buddy. They aren't. However, to wish them well, to acknowledge when we say namaste that there is the divinity within them. And then I thought, well, maybe she didn't care for our story because the story was, just being raised in an alcoholic family and having my mother just be so resourceful and so courageous. And in the midst of all of it, she would make Divinity. And so she taught me, in the midst of whatever is going on, make Divinity. And I would always say that to her when some kind of challenge would go on. She lived with me for 9 years. I said, we're making Divinity, Mom. We're making Divinity. So when you can take raw ingredients in your angst, your disappointments, the things that happen in life, we're making Divinity. We're going to take all the ingredients, and we're looking at these 6 walnut trees, and we're going to make Divinity. And so I had the opportunity. I saw her on Facebook, and she put the Chicken Soup for the Soul book on, that she was, like the co-author and all of this. Well, I'm a co-author in Louise Hay's Gratitude book. I'm a co-author in the wonderful Turtle Island with Maria Yasuburu, who is beautiful, my Apache niece. I'm a co-author with Robbie Motters. The Power is in the Asking. Show Up. This is Robbie Motters' whole theme. I'm a co-author in a wonderful new book that just came out about the quarantine. So I'm in many anthologies and co-authoring many things. But I had the opportunity to share how much we were looking forward to being in the book, and how somehow, and I shared about my mother's divinity and the walnut trees, and I made it light enough to acknowledge that, yes, this happened. And I said somehow our recipe and story was excluded from the book. But what I found out was all of that pales in the presence of love. And in the presence of love, everything dissolves. And that's what truly matters. And I said to her, and I wish you all of what truly matters. And I felt so light. And when we look at it, wishes fulfilled, that I could release this energy. I could let go and let God do what God does best by means of me. I have been a minister for 45 years. 20 of it right here in the Coachella Valley this summer on September 1st, when I started Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide 2001 and stepped into this energy field. It was an amazing unfoldment. And I have some of my dearest and closest friends that live here. And I also have beautiful friends from my San Diego ministry that will always be with me and always at the center of my heart. And from my original ministry that I founded, the Santa Clarita Center for Spiritual Living. And so as we come together energetically and we acknowledge that, yes, wishes are fulfilled, and we assume the same feelings we would have if our requests were already fulfilled. We have the joy that absolutely spills over onto everyone and anyone who comes within our energy field, to know that they are healed and uplifted in our presence. And that when we're in the midst of some kind of a crisis, remember that the ancient Chinese character, there is no character for crises or danger, but opportunity. So let's go for the opportunities. Let's see our wishes fulfilled. Let's see our highest vision, our deepest desire, our most sacred goal as an already accomplished fact in mind and experience. This is the day the Lord hath made. Let us consciously choose to rejoice and be glad in it. It is a gift from God. And what we make of this thing called life is our gift back to God. So tonight, as I close with our spiritual treatment, I invite you to post your prayer requests. The Reverend Dr. Joan Hangarter, who I ordained on November 22nd, and our Reverend Prince Fleet Easton, I'm sure are tuning in. Our newest ministers at Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide, that we are knowing the truth with you and for you. And I celebrated on Monday that it was my 20th and I completed my radiation treatments from the skin cancer that was diagnosed in December. And I shared it on Facebook, my gratitude, and that our miracle working ministry of prayer really supported me through the whole process. So I went 3 times a week from December 27th until February 22nd. Interesting, isn't it? My sister's birthday. And that my radiologist, he got out his little bells and whistles, and he blew a little horn, and he had like a little noisemaker. It was just darling that I made that commitment. I came out on the other side. I never missed a beat. I have never felt any dis-ease from the 21 seconds of the radiation. The longest part of the process is they really armor you up. And I was armored up, and I would name, he would put on like we would call the neck piece of honor. Then he would put on that other shield. We called it the shield of courage. And then he would put the blindfold on my eyes. And I would just say, blessed are they who have eyes that see, who have insight. And he would go along with it with me so beautifully. So thank you, Paul, for being a wonderful radiologist and allowing me to come out on the other side unscathed. No dis-ease, no discomfort. I am so very, very grateful. My heart is overflowing with gratitude to Reverend Linda Orrick, to Reverend Michael Berger, who is in Colorado, for our beautiful Reverend Dr. Joan, our wonderful Prince Fleet, Reverend Prince Fleet, and all of the others that Reverend Clayton, Reverend Dr. Clayton, who are part of our ministry of prayer. So please write your prayer requests in as we close with this spiritual treatment, that there is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect, and that life is our life right here and right now. It is nearer than breathing. It is closer than hands and feet. It is the life of our life. It is the essence of our being. All that we are is this God-created stuff. God in us, God as us. God is the only truth of us. For eye hath not seen nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of humanity the things which God hath prepared for them that love. Love being the strongest healing power in the universe. If you could only love enough, you would be the strongest, most powerful being on the planet. And let us know that if there's anyone viewing here tonight that possibly cried themselves to sleep last night, know that you are not alone. The love of God surrounds you, the light of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, and the presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is. This is the truth for you and with you. That which needs to be healed is healed. That which needs to be revealed is revealed. That which needs to be known is known, and that which needs to be released is released, quickly, gently, and with grace. Thank you, Father, Mother God, that all cause, effect, record, and memory of that which no longer serves returns to its native nothingness from whence it came, because in truth, it is neither person, place, nor thing, only the life and the energy that has been given unto it. And with great gratitude, I know that any plant which the Heavenly Father hath not planted is rooted up and returned to whence it came. And as I let go and let God do what God does best and give thanks that this word returns in full-blown expression of that which has been sent forth on this glorious, glorious evening. And so it is. Amen. And I thank you, each and every one of you, who have been sending in your tithes, your love offerings, and your financial gifts. It's because of you that our doors are open. And I kid you not, that we have, certain fixed expenses. Our own Reverend Fleet is one of them, which is half of that. And we have kept our doors open because of your financial and loving support. We want to raise $2,000 for new equipment. We're all using our old laptops and things to get our message out into the world. And we would like to have new equipment so that we can be at that state-of-the-art energy and put out this message of universal oneness. This is a powerful message. I believe in it with all my heart, all my soul, all my mind. This is a transforming message. I've seen lives, including my own, transformed by this universal message of oneness. So I thank you for sharing your financial gifts, your tithes, and your love offerings. It means the world to us. We are so deeply, deeply grateful. And I say to you, namaste. The God in me salutes the God in you, and the God in you salutes the God in me. And if I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. Namaste. I say shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us, everyone. Miss Minnie and I, she jumped off my lap and she's asleep under the table. But we will be back next week. And I am so very, very grateful that you tuned in and that we are together, and we will see you next week. God bless you.